Afternoon, President John Dramani Mahama to convene emergency cabinet meeting tomorrow over the operational and financial crises facing Ghana's cocoa sector.
Also this afternoon, Transparency International attributes Ghana's 2025 corruption perception score of 43% to recent removal of Chief Justice and discontinuation of corruption cases involving members of the governing NDC.
Plus later, we'll head to the Accra High Court, which has dismissed former Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Authority's application seeking to halt her trial and refer certain constitutional issues to the Supreme Court. It's News Central live on TV3. I'm Kemini Amano.
And I am Mawina Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now. This afternoon, the dismissal of the former Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo, the various petitions for the removal of heads of various independent institutions, and the discontinuation of corruption cases involving members of the ruling government are some of the contributory factors to Ghana's uninspiring corruption index performance. That's according to the latest 43% score on corruption perception out of 100 ascertained by the country. The score indicates that Ghana continues to struggle with persistent corruption, weak compliance with an enforcement of the legal and policy framework, and weak state institutions dedicated to combating corruption. The country has remained at a CPI score of 43 since 2020, slipping to 42 in 2024. And we're going to take a quick look at what has been presented in terms of our score for some time now. And they do make a number of recommendations as well, which they believe ought to be taken into consideration by the government in a bid to improve the score of the country in matters relating to corruption and the general perception of individuals and the citizens as to the fight against graft. And let's start off, first off, perhaps, with what our score has been and the trajectory, right? And so we've been in the regions of the 40s for a very long time, haven't quite crossed the threshold to 50 and above just as yet. And we go back as far back as, 12 years ago or 11 years ago to 2014, where we scored as high as 48%, and this was during President John Mahama's first term as well, and then 47. Then we've come all the way down to 40 during 2017, and our lowest again being 42 in 2024. But we've gone back to the average since 2020 of 43%, and that's what Transparency International says. It's not a good look. It suggests there's a weakening of institutions and a real challenge in being able to deal with graft and deal with it effectively and efficiently. But here's what they recommend, amongst many other things, as to what can be done between now and when the next CPI scoring comes around. They are asking we strengthen the justice systems and protect their independence, and welcome the Chief Justice's decision to fast-track the creation of anti-corruption courts. And so that's one thing. And we'll get a sense as to why they make the point of strengthening justice systems pretty shortly when we connect with one of the persons of Transparency International Ghana. They are also asking that the hastening of the passage of the Community Tribunal Bill, which has been penciled as one of the bills to receive the attention of Parliament during the current sitting, is of utmost importance. Expeditiously adopt the National Ethics and Anti-Corruption Plan. Also undertake cultural reorientation to pay attention to issues of ethics, such as the campaign by the IGP to promote personnel who demonstrate integrity in the line of duty and promote a friendly business environment by calling on state regulatory agencies, state regulatory agencies such as the Office of the Registrar of Companies, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, the Ghana Revenue Authority, amongst others, the Standards Authority and the Food and Drugs Authority to promote ethical business standards, right? Let's speak to Michael Buedi. He's fundraising manager of Transparency International Ghana. We're going over to him. He's joining us via Zoom this afternoon as well for a quick chat in relation to what it is that we're seeing in this latest score and why perhaps they raised the concern that, look, we've remained at that 43 score for quite a while, and it's time that we took certain actions to improve on our score. Mr. Buedi, I appreciate you joining us and speaking to us this afternoon. Now, reading the report, we see mentions of the removal of the Chief Justice and also petitions for other heads of other independent institutions being removed. There are those who ask the question, the direct or causal link between these sets of actions and the perception on corruption. Draw that link for us and why all of these matters in the score we're seeing.
Very well. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers as well as your listeners. So, every year, various indices, good governance indices or anti-corruption indices are used or weighted in the calculation of the CPI. So you would find that there are times where, you would find that this year, we use Transparency International use civic space, independence of the judiciary, the integrity of public office as some of the key drivers of corruption. So where there are questionable integrity or respondents perceive that there are issues with the integrity of public office, your weight drops. It is where civic space is constricted, your weight also drops. Now, a lot of things happened in the course of the year. There were arrests of citizens that express varying opinion or questioning authority. There is also a lot of report of denial of persons that were seeking information or using the right to information. The Right to Information Commission had to issue a number of fines to public sector. There were allegations of public sector corruption. The Auditor General's report were also out there for the jury to decide. So all these come together to shape the perspective or a perception of respondents of the level of corruption in Ghana. One would all.
Oh dear, it does appear we may have lost Mr. Buedi just there on Zoom in relation to our conversation, and we will try, hopefully, and reconnect with him. But that's him seeking to explain and also draw the causal link as to why we're seeing this score vis-a-vis others, or particularly what we saw in 2024 and the concern that we're not improving. That was the next line of question I was seeking to ask. Why that concern appears to continue to come every now and then, that we've remained at the 43 score since 2020, only dipping in 2024 and what have you. Mr. Buedi appears to be back with us. Mr. Buedi, I see that you're back with us on Zoom again. Just talk to us about this persistent 43% we've been scoring as well, and the challenges which you've been able to identify in terms of a theme which has been running through since 2020 and what we can do to begin to improve upon it.
Very well. So what is accounting for our stagnation is that over the years we have perceived that when we pass laws and we establish institutions, that is enough to fight corruption or to indicate our commitment to fight corruption. What we lose sight of is the fact that if you don't resource the institutions, they will be dysfunctional. If the laws are not implemented, they will not be able to do anything. That is missing on us. So year in, year out, regime after regime, the laws are reviewed, the new ones are passed, institutions are set up, and then that is it. Not the latest institution on the block is the Office of the Special Prosecutor. But I'm sure you all know that the Office of the Special Prosecutor had been consistent in complaining about adequacy of resource. Not just complaining, but throughout last year, the office spent a good time defending itself at the courts, as well as justifying why the office must be maintained. Citizens and politicians alike attacked the office in diverse ways. When this persists, then it sends a signal out there that, look, this country, they are not committed to the fight against corruption. So barring the passage of laws and institutions, setting up of institutions, it's only at best serves as cosmetic, but not actual commitment to the fight against corruption.
Right. Is there not a bit more in terms of nuance in, for instance, the example you cite of the Office of the Special Prosecutor and what appears to be the attacks? There are those who make the argument that, yes, the concern about resources may be legitimate, but the office has been resourced to a certain level. Results are yet to be seen, and citizens are asking the question as to where the results are, particularly on the matter of the former finance minister and what have you. And we make reference as well to the petitions that went in for, say, the removal of the head of that institution, for instance. Isn't there a bit more nuance in the term that it's as a result of citizens' displeasure with the fight against corruption resulting in attacks like that?
Well, you see, I think that all of us, including the media, had not helped in this matter very well. You see, we only limit the function or mandate of the Office of the Special Prosecutor to the prosecutorial investigation and prosecutorial function. Right. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has a higher and other multiple responsibilities. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has asset recovery responsibility. They have public education responsibility. They also have preventive responsibility.
Absolutely.
But because they've not done too much of the prosecutorial responsibility, the impression is given as if they are not doing anything. And I think that we must contribute to changing that impression, because it's a lot more better to prevent the occurrence of the crime or of corruption than just going ahead to prosecute, because it's a lot difficult. You see, prosecuting corruption is not that easy. I always ask this question. The Attorney General, whose prosecutorial function he had given a part to the Office of the Special Prosecutor, one would ask, from the beginning of the Fourth Republic till now, how many corrupt cases had they successfully prosecuted? Not that much. The people who engage in corruption are well-resourced to hire all the competence that they need to be able to fight the law enforcement agencies. It is not as easy as prosecuting a petty criminal or a petty thief. You know, so it is very competent. And just as you mentioned, Mr. Oforata's case, you agree with me that if Mr. Oforata had been any other person on the street, ISIS would have deported him to Ghana by now. Right. But this man has been able to afford competent legal representation, you know, to defend himself. So it doesn't come that easy. But right. There are low-hanging fruits, such as the prevention and public education, which I trust that the Special Prosecutor is doing quite well on.
Right. Mr. Boydie, I appreciate you for joining us this afternoon here on the bulletin, and most certainly it's a conversation I believe that we'll continue to have as we go on, because corruption is something that matters to all of us. But I appreciate you greatly for speaking to us. That Mr. Boydie is with Transparency International Ghana speaking to us this afternoon. Right now, let's take you to our Election Command Center.
Now, some Ghanaians have questioned the majority's demand for the cancellation of Ayawaso East results due to the allegations of vote buying. The concerns have been that inducement of voters by way of gifts are not new, but these could have contributed to Ghana's performance on the Corruption Perception Index over the years. Christian Yale is having a chat with an NDC MP for Time, Adama Sulemana, to gauge his thoughts on this matter. Christian.
Just like you said, one of the questions many are asking, especially after the majority caucus indicated that the party should cancel or annul the Ayawaso East primary result, is that the MPs themselves, I mean, during the course of campaign and elections, they are seen to be giving what they usually would say gifts, or they will also say TNT, to support the movement of the delegates to and fro their various destinations. And so Adama Sulemana, he is an NDC MP for Tai, and he also happens to be the deputy ranking member on the budget committee. He serves as well on the information and communications committee as well. So I put that question to you directly. How do you respond to those who say that you do not have the moral right to ask for the annulment of the Ayawaso East result because of the allegations of voter inducement?
I believe we are in a very different dispensation altogether. The President of the Republic promised a reset. He promised to clean the system. He promised to make sure the right things are done. We can't say it was done yesterday, so it should be done today. That would be like we are never growing in this democracy. So I believe that the best way to fight corruption is to demonstrate to the people that when it happens to your own, you are there to fight. The thing that we saw on TV cannot be likened to election, cannot be likened to something that is normal. Nobody says anybody is guilty. The call for the annulment is the view of the people who call for it. But I would prefer the investigative bodies finish their investigations so that we will see what recommendations they will put. For instance, if it happens that what we are seeing was not what really transpired or what really influenced the elections or something, then we will know what to do. I believe that. But if it happens that what we saw really, and then the items that were bought were really the issues on the ground, of course, we can't say it happened yesterday, so it should happen today. And it also sends a signal that tomorrow, those that you say they have done, the MPs that you say, the MPs do it every day, it sends a signal to them that we can monetize our democracy.
But Adama, so talking about that, then the other question for many is that it is because you, the majority, are asking for this or making this proposal because, quote unquote, the establishment candidate did not win. Is it true that maybe the majority caucus or the larger number of you wanted the widow to win and she didn't win, so you decide to go after let me say, former High Commissioner to Nigeria?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Unless you bring a ballot paper to the Chamber of Parliament and let the MPs vote, then you really make a decision as to who. The MPs have no business in Ayawaso. What we know is that, what we want is that our colleague is gone. We want a replacement through the channel that the party. So if these things had not happened, if these discussions have not gone on, if the issues have not happened, I believe that our candidate, even as we speak now, our candidate is the former High Commission to Nigeria. Absolutely no. There is no establishment. The only establishment that we have in this country is the NDC, led by President Mahama as the leader of Ghana, leader of the party. That's a parliamentary caucus. We have no need.
But then my question is that, so now with all of this happening, should it happen that a committee come out with their report and they find evidence of voter inducement or whatnot, wouldn't that put you, the MPs, in a tighter contest going forward with the elections ahead? We know that NDC is going to have from branch level to national level elections this particular year. You then will be put in a very tight corner by way of what you usually would call support for the delegate in their commute from home to the voting grounds and all of that. That would also give you a tough time.
I'm aware a number of MPs are putting together a bill, a private member's bill, to deal with this canker of monetization. Everybody is drained. Come to the chamber, ask the MPs what they go through when parliamentary primaries are. You see, you need a leader to kickstart something. And I believe that we have the leadership now. We have the leadership in President Mahama. We have the parliamentary caucus. We have the party level. And this referral to a committee is not a referral of an individual. It's a referral of the whole process. What about if the committee comes with its report that all of them engage in vote buying? So all of them are not qualified. Will it be an attempt to gag anybody? So I believe that it is in the interest of even members of parliament and aspiring members of parliament and every politician, including those in the opposition, that we get this one right and nip this monetization of our politics in the bud. Otherwise, it will be who has the deep pocket who gets to parliament.
Maybe in wrapping up, Kevin, in wrapping up, so you mentioned that you are aware of some MPs putting together a private member's bill to deal with this whole issue about monetization in politics. Can you further elucidate on this? Give me some more detail if you know. I mean, those who are sponsoring this bill and when it is expected to be admitted and all that.
Specifically, I can't mention the names now. I believe that behind the scene, a lot of people we are concerned. The MPs are concerned. When it comes to parliamentary primaries, presidential primaries, even in internal party position primaries, the kind of thing that goes on is becoming out. If you don't really tackle it, it will push our democracy in jeopardy. So we thank the president that we don't wish this had happened, but it takes somebody with guts to take on what he's doing. So we thank the president. It's positive. The reset agenda is on.
The reset agenda is on. So, Kevin, there we have it. So he is saying that all that is happening with their demands, it's not as though it is targeted, or like some would say, the establishment candidate did not win. And so this is a way of trying to call for a re-election so that they maneuver their way around it. He's refuted all of such claims and allegations and is of the view that all of this is targeted towards a reset of our political landscape, like the NDC itself has already started with an internal reorganization of their electioneering process and whatnot. I would have wanted to ask me about the corruption perceptions index that we have just seen and the fact that Ghana's performance has stagnated over the last 5 years. But I think the general conversation you had a while ago also dovetails into all of these concerns. Back to you in studios.
Christian Yale, thank you so much for bringing us that interview with Adama Sulemana, who is the Tayi MP. Away from that, we'll pay attention to roads. Now, the Ministry of Roads and Highways' decision to review the design of the 4-tier Suame interchange has sparked strong reactions, particularly from the Ashanti minority caucus in Parliament, while the minister maintains that the redesign will incorporate an outer ring road to reflect new developments within the greater Kumasi metropolis. The minority MPs insist the move represents a major setback for both Kumasi and national development. Amid the growing debate, residents and road users are also weighing in on what the changes could mean for traffic, business, and daily life in the city. Well, Ibrahim Abubakar is our correspondent following the story closely. He's been engaging with residents of the Ashanti region on the subject matter. Remember that already it has dominated conversations in that part of the country. Ibrahim now joins us to tell us what exactly residents are talking about. He will also share with us, how they hope that this is resolved in the future. Well, Ibrahim, talk to us. You have been following this story closely. The debate around why or whether or not the Suame interchange redesign is favorable to the livelihoods of the people or not. Tell us what the people are saying. Well, it appears Ibrahim is not ready at this time, but we can take a listen to some voices while we wait on Ibrahim to join our connection. Here's what the people around the Suame interchange say.
Okay.
If you know you have, you want to continue the way it started, but don't change it. A fan of 3, for that money that he have for now, and he think maybe that's what he have that he can do. No, you should hold that money and get loan and add it to complete the contract.
If it's a ban, you see how they can buy no. Na send call any phone. Na say no MPP aban no echo. Na change of government Friday aba. Nti aban no buy no hwe bia na hoɔden no a na se 3 no obetimi aya. Yan de be san se 3 no onye wi.
Kame nya kwa kame bunkotodwe abunkotodwe akata ya papa John Mahama se 3 no oye mutu kura ye de nase. Oye mutu a ye be de nase.
Well, some voices from the Ashanti region. But Ibrahim, how crucial is this interchange for the people?
Well, this is Suame. It's one of the busiest roads we have in the country. And when you look at the road network, this corridor serves as a major gateway linking Kumasi to the northern part. Oh.
We can hear you, Ibrahim. Go on.
So I was saying this corridor serves as a major gateway linking Kumasi to the northern part of the country, and even some other Western countries. So it's very, very important. And when you look at the traffic congestion on this stretch, this road will be very, very significant when completed, because it is going to reduce the traffic in this area and will reduce travel time as well. But then, as we speak, the project has remained in this dusty and abandoned state for several months. And in fact, traffic congestion on the stretch has even worsened significantly. A 5-minute drive will now take you not less than 35 minutes to even more than an hour. And just some few months ago, because of frustration by the prolonged delay of the project, commuters and motorists have staged series of protests demanding the immediate resumption of work. But as we speak, the contractors are not back on site, even though we do know that government has announced that soon they will be bringing contractors on site, just that there will be some adjustment, reducing the 4th year or downsizing the 4th year. And this is where the issue is. For some of the residents, they are okay that if the 4th year will be reduced for the project to be completed on time, then it's fine for them. Others who are saying that this will be the first 4th year interchange we have in the region and the second in the country. And for that matter, they are hoping that the project scope will be maintained for them to also see it. But like I said, it's mixed reaction. But at the end of the day, what majority are saying is that they hope that this project will be completed on time for them to also be able to use it and reduce travel time when using this stretch.
I see Ibrahim now. Tell us how the interchange connects the city.
Well, like I said, this is a major corridor that serves Kumasi to the northern part. And when you come to Suame roundabout, it's linked to several districts. Here will link to Mampong, Edra, all the way to Yeji, to the northern part. Here also links to Ofenso, Akumadan, all the way to Chimay to Chambali. Then we have another road which also links to Sofolai, Ebuakwa to Sunyani, and also the Bono part of the region. Then we have this link which goes directly to the central business district of Kumasi and linking to all communities within Kumasi. So this is a very, very important stretch for the people of Ashanti and even beyond, because it connects to several regions within the country. So that's how come people are just hoping that now that the project has started and government has pledged to bring contractors back to site, the project will see the light of day. Because, mind you, the initial or the original completion schedule, we're supposed to see this project completed somewhere in 2024. And as we speak, 2026, contractors are not even back on site. So people are hopeful. They are saying that if this government is able to complete such a program, then it will be a legacy project for the government that started and even the government that will conclude it.
Very well, we'll end it here. Thank you so much for talking to us. Ibrahim Abubakar is our Ashanti region correspondent. More on that Suame interchange development in later broadcasts. Well, now we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you a bit more. We'll be right back.
Glad that you could join us again here on News Central. Let's bring you a bit more in terms of stories this afternoon. And the Accra High Court has dismissed an application by former Deputy Director of the National Service Authority, Gift Mensah, referring her case to the Supreme Court. Presiding Judge Audrey Kokuvite held that the action or the application lacked merit. Lawyers of the embattled former NSA Deputy Director were seeking an interpretation of a provision in the Practice Direction on Disclosure and Case Management Proceedings, as well as the 1992 Constitution. The court had previously ordered her to file the list of her witnesses and their names during the case management conference. Gift Mensah is facing charges of causing financial loss to the tune of 38 million cedis in relation to the National Service ghost name scandal. She has pleaded not guilty to a count of stealing, 2 counts of willfully causing financial loss to the public or to the Republic, a count each of using public office for profit and money laundering, and has been granted bail. Lord Eduasare is my colleague from the court. Lord, what else can you tell us, and what does this mean for the case going forward?
Right, Marina, and so the lawyers of the former Deputy Director of the National Service Authority have filed a notice of appeal against the order compelling her, or the order by the High Court compelling her to, as it were, file the list of her witnesses and their addresses. Now, in addition to that, they have filed an application to stay proceedings pending that appeal or pending that notice of appeal. Now, that case or the ruling on the application to stay proceedings will be done the next time we are in court, which will be 18th of February. But let me take you back a little bit, because you recall that on January 20, the High Court ordered her to file her witnesses, but then her lawyers argue that per the 1992 Constitution, Article 19 to be precise, an accused person is presumed innocent until proven guilty, and that basically the onus lies on the prosecution to prove her guilt. But the practice direction on disclosures also indicates that the accused person needs to file their the list of their witnesses and then their addresses. Now, they are arguing that these two are in contravention with each other, and so they sought to refer the case to the Supreme Court for interpretation, and this was sort of dismissed by the High Court judge, indicating that they hadn't proven enough to warrant the referral to the Supreme Court, and so she dismissed that application entirely. So, this is where we are. It means that the next time we're in court, the court will rule on that application to stay proceedings, and we'll see how things will pan out from there.
Lord, just a curious question as to this argument which was put forth by her lawyers. I know we are witnessing a number of prosecutions across board. Is it the norm that when we are in case management, direction is given for both defendants and the prosecutors to all file witness statements, or it's the first ever we'll see in reason for which her lawyers are making this argument as to innocent until proven guilty?
I didn't get the last part.
The bit about her lawyers arguing innocent until proven guilty, I'm asking if the defense also filing their witness statement is not a norm that exists already in the court, or is the first time we're seeing it play out in her case?
No, this is the norm. Whenever criminal prosecution is ongoing, during the case management conference, the defense lawyers or the defendants are always asked to file their disclosures, the full disclosure, and that includes filing the number of witnesses that you call on, their addresses. And so even the Director of Public Prosecution was buttressing on this point that this is a normal practice direction that has been in existence since. And so it cannot be the case that you are now citing the 1992 Constitution as being inconsistent with the practice direction on disclosures. And so I think it's a case of them trying to test the law because of what the Constitution says as against what the practice direction says as far as full disclosure is concerned. Because as far as any one is concerned, or anybody and the legal fraternity is concerned, whenever there's criminal proceedings and there's case management conference, prosecution are asked to file the disclosures, defendants are also asked to file their disclosures. In that includes the number of witnesses that you hope to rely on to help make your case, Moina.
Right then, Lord, thank you very much. That's my colleague, Lord Idwasari, in the courts for us, who will take us onto the regions with Regional Hub.
Now, the customs officers at the Paga border who are doing overtime in the Upper East region say they are overwhelmed by heavy traffic of trucks from Temahaba en route to Burkina Faso and Mali. The trucks have occupied the main Trans-ECOWAS highway and spaces within the Paga township. Fuel tankers, which constitute the majority of the transit vehicles, are yet to be cleared and pose danger to both humans and properties in Paga. The situation, according to officials, is as a result of limited officers to clear the vehicles and the operation of 24-hour services at the Tema port, resulting in more than usual vehicles being cleared. We'll connect now with our Upper East Region correspondent Tanko Mohammed Rabiu, who's currently at Paga. Rabiu, talk to us about the situation. What really is it about? Give us an understanding.
Yes, thank you very much. What is happening here is that the vehicles trucks that have been cleared from the Tema Harbor en route to Burkina Faso and Mali, that passes through the Paga border, are stuck here in Paga. Most of them are here because the few custom officers who are here clearing the trucks doing overtime, that is 24 hours, are very tired and then overwhelmed because each day the trucks that comes from Tema are very, they come in their numbers, so it makes work here very difficult for these officers here. And then the second issue is that the Burkina Faso side of the border, that is the Dakola, they are not doing 24-hour operation, so it makes it difficult for the trucks that have been cleared here to pass through. So because of that, they are being delayed. I mean, the officers here in Paga are being delayed because of the operation in Dakola.
I see, Rabiu. And then there are issues around overtime as well. Explain that to us.
Come again.
I'm asking that we also hear there are issues around customs officers' overtime. Explain that to us.
Yes, the overtime by the customs officers is that due to the heavy traffic at the inland port, the inland port at the Paga border is very small. So because of that, the trucks, that comes from, like I said, that comes from Tema Harbor are all here, making the place congested. So because of that, the officers have to do more than what they are doing, and then they are not many here. So because of that, they have to do overtime. And then the overtime is not helping because while they are doing overtime, more cars from the Tema Harbor are also arriving. So they become tired, and then the workload becomes heavy. And then the following morning, the heavy truck or the heavy traffic from the Tema Harbor also comes to add to the
We'll end it here for now. Thank you so much for talking to us, Rabiu Mohammed, our Upper East Region correspondent. We'll head now for the Western region, where the Ghana Maritime Authority has launched strategic community engagements with fisherfolk and stakeholders in that region's coastal communities to tackle the surge in fishing incursions into offshore exclusive zones. Acting Regional Head Houdin Daoud Ahmed notes that oil companies are increasingly complaining about fisherfolk encroaching on restricted zones, disrupting operations and endangering lives. Irama Smith has more.
Many artisanal fisherfolk in Ghana's coastal areas are defying a 500-meter safety zone around offshore oil facilities like Talo and ENI Ghana's floating production, storage and offloading, that's FPSOs. in their quest to catch the high numbers of fish attracted to the light on the platforms. This is in spite of the deadly risk and repeated government warnings. Acting Western Regional Head of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Howdin Dawood Ahmed, says the oil companies continue to complain about how this disrupts their operations and endanger lives. It is in this light that the authority has embarked on intensified sensitization programs in Axim, Elmina, and Takrady, with the first at Indre-Sia near Sekindi. He disclosed that his outfit is establishing satellite offices in coastal areas like Shama, Aguna West, Jomoro, and Axim under the Reset Agenda policy to enhance visibility, rapid response to illegal fishing and pollution, among others.
Yeah, so the government has had access to inform them that there is a 500 meters economic zone that you don't need to get closer to. But because of the want of plenty catch, they defy this directive and go beyond the 500 meters to the exclusive zone. So we've had a lot of incessant complaints about their activities around the FPSO from these oil companies. So the Director General therefore directed us to intensify the engagement that we used to have with these fisher folks. For that matter, the technical department rolled out a program for a series of these engagements.
Chief Fisherman at Indre-Sia Nanakwesi Akon lauded the Ghana Maritime Authority for such an initiative, saying it was vital to safeguard their safety and livelihoods.
The engagement meeting benefits us greatly. A late brother of mine who lived overseas had a similar experience with oil and gas activities. As a result, it caused many fish to die and float to the surface. This is a serious issue, and I believe these meetings help us learn from such lessons to prevent future harm.
Irama Smith, TV3 News, Indre-Sia.
Well, now I'm back because the board chair of the state-owned Volta Aluminium Company, Valco, Ambassador Horace Nia shut down any move to privatize Valco, stating such a move will only take the company back to its former state. He's also proposed decoupling Valco from GIADEC in order to douse unnecessary tension.
The state-owned smelter became active a few years ago after it was crippled in 2004 due to erratic power supply. Valco now operates on 124 cell lines from 114 inherited by the current administration. In 2025, Valco produced 46,000 metric tons of aluminium, out of which 97% of it was exported. Valco seeks to boost production with 150 operating cells by the end of 2026. Ambassador Horace believes some individuals are creating a gloomy picture about a factory with huge potential, describing it as unfortunate. He believes the answer lies in decoupling Valco from the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development GIADEC to douse tension.
What is going on out there is just creating the tension that is not needed to making sure that the president's vision in industrialization is enhanced. I strongly believe that going forward, for the country to sort of like benefit from whatever positioning the president is looking at when we talk about industrialization, is to decouple GIADEC from Valco. I strongly believe that GIADEC is seeing itself as the overlords of Valco, and it's creating the unnecessary whatever tension that is not needed at all in the industry. So decoupling the two will be in the best interest of the country.
Let's now focus on the crucial matters in the cocoa sector because we are learning that President John Dramani Mahama is scheduled to chair an emergency cabinet meeting for Wednesday, February 11, 2026 to discuss major challenges facing Ghana's cocoa sector. The meeting comes amid mounting concerns, as you very well know, over delayed payments to cocoa farmers and broader financial operational challenges confronting the sector, but particularly Cocoa Board. The minority caucus only days ago criticized the government and Cocoa Board for failing to reimburse license buying companies, a delay that has left many farmers unpaid for several months now. Despite assurances from Cocoa Board, some cocoa farmers have threatened to sell their farmlands to illegal miners due to the disruptions and its effect on their livelihoods. Oh, that's a story we'll keep an eye on. Meanwhile, CEO of Cocoa Board, Dr. Randy Abe, over the weekend on Key Points here on TV3, details the challenges bedeviling the state agency, making it difficult to settle cocoa farmers. Let's take a listen.
Minority press conference, they spoke about, the LBCs are old monies. That's true. But you see, we now were paying the farmer $3,100 a ton. So what it means is that when the LBC goes to the farmer, the LBC pays the farmer $3,100, see the equivalent, for a ton, the crop. Anytime we use that crop to service the 2,600 rollover, there was a debt of $500 to the LBC. Because the LBC is paying the farmer $3,100 on your behalf. You are using that cocoa to service a contract signed for $2,600. So apart from the loss of revenue of the 941, you're also losing $500 on each ton. You owe the LBC $500. So it means that you even have to top up $500 US. And as at the time that we finished 24-25, 4 billion cedis was what we owed the. So when you see the CTO as cocoa taking over receipts.
I see.
So that is what we owed the LBCs as a result of those differences. So now it gets worse. It gets worse in 25-26 because now, having extinguished about 235,000 tons, the rollover effect now becomes minimal. It's about 98,000. So the effect it had on 24-25 is lesser than 25-26. Okay. And that is why for 25-26, we were able to declare an FOB of $7,200 US. Because now, the impact of the rollovers had reduced from 333 to 98. So you declare 7.2, but guess what? The catch there is that the 7.2, by the NDC's manifesto of paying 70% of the declared FOB, the farmer share now became $5,040 US. $5,040 US. Now, so in the 25-26 season, anytime you use the 5,040 crop to service a rollover, the difference now moves from $500 US to about $2,400 US. Oh. Because now the LBC is giving the farmer 5,040, and you are using that 5,040 to settle a 2,600 contract signed in 23-24 but not delivered. So you have to then give the FOB, the LBC, that difference. So that is how worse the situation has become.
Well, all of this and more is what the president is seeking to get an understanding of and begin to find solutions to tomorrow. And like you mentioned, we'll follow up on that and bring viewers details of. But that's our bulletin for you this afternoon. I am Mawina Igbeka.
And I am Kemeni Amano. Thank you so much for your company. Next is the afternoon show. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.